got back to Toronto, I was singing a lot and I did the Women's Blues Review and all of those things. But in terms of theater, it was Brockville, Ontario, Little Shop of Horrors. That's how I got my equity card. You know, like how I got my equity card. That's how I got my equity card. And it was a gas. It was with Tanya Hagenberg.
Who I love.
Yeah, I know. And Aaron Mackey.
Mackie Attack.
Yeah, Mac Attack. So it was us three because at that time they didn't. Yeah, because they wouldn't cast three Black women in the roles. But I mean, I love them, so we hung out. I didn't have a lot of interaction with all Black casts,
right,
or Black theater companies, and I always felt like an odd duck, and in a lot of ways was treated like an odd duck. Ma Rainey was for me a titular character for my life. And I actually started to get a little bit resentful.
Oh, wow.
When I started to delve into that role and knowing that, you know, she was getting, you know, $125 a recording or $250 at most. And for that same recording, Al Jolson was making $8,000.
Yeah.
But also, it was the first time that I understood why it's so important to have casts that have Black stage managers.
But it's not just stage managers, it's all administration. We need to start seeing ourselves everywhere so that when we start to tell our stories, we don't have to apologize for them.
Oh.
I've done a few now all Black casts, and it's very different. People are people, and not everybody's personalities are going to cohesively jive. We're talking about the freedom to not have to code switch and not have to censor and tell our full story and not be worried about the repercussions because we aren't used to being heard.
Absolutely. I also did Spoon River for Soul Pepper Theater, and we ended up taking it to New York City. And we did a residency at the Signature Center. And I loved that show. I knew I was going to New York before many other people knew that they were going. So I'm doing a show called The Journey, and it's one of my life songs. It's one of those things where I was working as an associate music director for the Regent Park community. It's about engaging the young people in the community, and Jackie's a part of it. Jackie Richardson, please. Mama Jack, I call her, but Jackie Richardson
we
was
all
a part
love.
of this. She's really been a mentor to me throughout my whole career. So anyway, I was like, yeah, they were like, oh, so you're going to New York. And I look and it's Jackie. She's like, yes, I'm going to New York. I'm going to be in Spoon River. And the first thing that I thought, being of sound mind and body, was, I guess I'm not in it. They're not going to have two big Black women in a show.
No, why would they ever do that? They don't do that.
Why would they ever do that? And I thought, you know, this is a problem because, you know, there were like 5 white women in the show and like, you know, 5 white men in the show. I bet you they never have that consideration. But I was like, oh, I guess I'm not in it. Why would I be in it if she's in it? That's terrible.
We are accustomed to being, first of all, one. And if not just one, we're accustomed to having our role. So as you say, big Black women.
Yeah, are one thing. Yeah.
The funny friend.
Yeah.
We get to have the pale skin lead.
Yes.
Right? These are all generalizations, and this is from 20 years of us living that. Things are changing now, have not changed, changing.
Yeah, we haven't seen a stage since this whole thing. Yeah, so
we have our role.
Had I known that she got the role and I didn't have the role, I would have been like, well, that's great. She got the role.
But you had the role.
I already had the role. I knew I was going to New York. So then to hear her say she was going to New York, I was like, oh no, they're canning me. Like it was different. It was a little bit different. So then I'm talking to her and she's like, oh no, child, we both going. And I'm like, this is amazing. And it was for the first time there was this release of like, yeah, it's something that we need to unpack. Like, why do we always feel that that's what it's going to be? Because that's how it has been.
Again, the only way to change it is to change it.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
the only way to change it,
Absolutely.
is
Yeah.
to change it.
It's an interesting thing because we've lived through this pandemic now, and,
We've lived through it?
well, we're here.
But
Like,
okay,
what I
you
mean
mean we're
what I
living through it. We're living through
yeah, we lived through it. The way that I look at it, because 'cause I'm here in the present now, and so my day right now, today, does not feel like I'm in the pandemic because 'cause I'm talking to you,
It's true.
and we are sharing and exchanging ideas and talking about history. One of the things that I always said was a blessing was that we always knew how to be laid off.
If any person was built for this pandemic, it's us. We've literally been going from job to job to job, waiting for the next thing for
Yep.
our
Never
entire
knowing if we're gonna get it,
never
you
knowing
know?
we're gonna get it.
Yeah.
Literally just on hope, faith, and a prayer. That's it. That's all we had. All you gotta do now is pivot. So this is a time like yourself, Alana, 20 years where you probably have never stopped. And then
And it
all of a
was a
sudden,
yeah,
you got a break. You
it
got
was
to
a relief. It was a relief, and you know what? It has changed the way that we as artists think. Even the whole, well, the show must go on, and we need to do 8 shows, and we need to dig ourselves into our early graves has gone because there's nothing that important
no, nothing more important than your health.
than our health.
Nothing more important than your health.
Now there's more conversations about, when we get back to this, what are we gonna get back to? Adaptability is the intelligence. Intelligence is the adaptability. There's been a lot of talk about changes that have been made. And I do want to say this because I've been seeing this beautiful blossoming of theater companies actually stepping up to help theater actors have some kind of sustainability, whether it's in the creation process, because we're not on stage right now. And so they have this funding and they're like, we want to impart that to our actors who are at home right now.
That's wonderful.
I'm just so happy
Do you
about
have
that.
any theaters in particular that you're speaking about?
From the Noteworthy program at Musical Stage and, the Academy that's happening at Soul Pepper. And then watching, some of the smaller companies getting funding and donors starting to step in. I am resident artist at Necessary Angel Theater Company under the direction of
Congratulations.
Alan Dilworth. Yeah, I'm extremely excited about it. It's a year residency. And what it's really doing is giving me the opportunity to build on my writing and
Fantastic.
kind of transition into a space where I want to be, which is to actually be a storyteller and to uplift and put our stories on stages, on screen.
That is so
Um,
exciting, Alana.
yeah, so I'm really excited about that.
We aren't one thing.
Right.
We are many things with
Many
many
things.
perspectives and many different cultures. We're just not the same.
We're not.
Black
No.
people, just like white
Surprise.
people,
Yeah.
we are not one thing.
That's why I'm so happy for the residency because this is it. And, whatever anybody wants to say, I'm casting my friends. Why not?
Of which I am one. I'm just saying.
Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode of the Blacktor Studio.
So that's how you got your start and you never looked back.
Honestly, there's something about having a child young is that it's all about the hustle.
You've
Like,
literally been talking about that forever.
I don't have the liberty and the ease of like not providing for somebody that has to eat. Like I could starve, but she can't.
She can't.
She needs light, she needs housing, she needs clothing. So there was just never an option to not commit fully to what I was doing.
That Alana was able to have her daughter, this light of her life, and continue to have her career. Yes, she had her when she was in university, but it didn't end her life. It just started another one.
Absolutely.
There's no rules in this life. It's absolutely the choices that you make after things happen to you.